It's January 10th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR Today and the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, but let's strap in because Michael Saylor's dodging bullets. Are you dodging bullets? Because let me tell you, we have quite a year ahead of us. No diggity, no doubt. And Michael Saylor wants us to know that Bitcoin is the strategy, and he doesn't even use a Bitcoin B for this because I guess it's just pretty obvious we're talking about Bitcoin, which is the strategy. And I do love that Strategy Max he puts strategy is Bitcoin. Let's go. Lead us, Michael. Mark Harvey says MSTR prefers a 12% increase in volume compared with the prior week. The increase was driven by Stretch, which traded at par from Wednesday through Friday. So you can see Stretch had quite the week. It's going up, up, up after this monster week back on November 17th. We'll see what next week brings, but I'm going to guess it's going to be above this line. That's my forecast, is we will be above the 10 million shares traded. So time will tell. We have Chris that says the most valuable companies in the world are platforms for distributing products and services at scale. Amazon is a platform for distributing consumer products at scale. Google is distributing information at scale. Netflix distributing entertainment at scale. Spotify, music at scale. Strategy is distributing digital credit at scale. MSTR is a $10 trillion company in the making. Look at these companies: consumer products for Amazon, Google information, Netflix entertainment, Spotify music. What is Strategy doing? Digital credits. There's maybe at least one of these companies here that's about to be disrupted by AI, but we'll see what's going on here. Ragnar says, today was another perfect day for Stretch. Momentum is increasing. It traded the whole day at or above $100. No single tick below par. 117 million in volume, the highest this week, which means that the ATM was likely running the whole day, enabling Strategy to purchase 300 to 500 Bitcoin in the $90,000 to $91,000 range. The high was $100.15, which proves that demand is strong. Bears like Predator in shambles. And I had a post yesterday about Stretch is closing in on 40 million in volume in just 1 hour of trading today. It did 80 million yesterday and averages 58 million per day. Will Stretch hit 150 million? That was my question, because it was, printing Bitcoin, obviously. Well, what ended up happening? 117 million, as you can see right here. So didn't get to the 150 million that I was hoping. It obviously more than doubled its average of 50 million. And yesterday was a high day of 80 million. It crushed that by almost 40 million. So had a good day. Didn't get to 150 million, though. I think it'll get there next week. Peter said, I never understood so-called Bitcoiners' gripe with Saylor and MSTR. You have a guy who has breathlessly evangelized Bitcoin for the past 5 years, bought 673,000 Bitcoin with no intention of selling, and induced Bitcoin-backed financial products to the public marketplace. What else do you want? Do you think all 8 billion people will magically get on a Bitcoin standard without the help of Strategy? If so, you are far removed from reality and wrongfully assume the mass population thinks like you. At the end of the day, everybody listening to this video, you are so early. You are so far ahead. Just sit back and wait, because British Hodl says, I think the USA will start buying Bitcoin for its strategic reserve this year, 2026. Zink says, this is important. Bitcoin went to 83K and MSCR's MNAV never dropped below 1 once. Metaplan has briefly went below book value, but now at 90K, it is at 1.29. And that's below book value, by the way. It was like 0.89. I was scooping up shares at the highest rate I could. Now imagine when Bitcoin makes a sustained move to the upside, particularly against gold. Whoever said we won't get a significant MNAV expansion again has got it very wrong. We will see MNAVs at 3 once more. This is not priced in. And I really do agree with Zinks on this. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to stay at M3 MNAV and above for long, but the reality is the pendulum always swings too far in both directions. Euphoria will absolutely be back. Doom and despair will definitely be back sometime in the future. I mean, it's the pendulum that's swinging, and it's the people that just hodl. They win. Mike says, Bitcoin's putting in multiple higher lows in the 89s. The next decisive move over 94 will take us to $100,000. When we clear 100K, the mainstream media will pick it up like a baton, and retail and wealth management will FOMO, fear of missing out, will accelerate. 140 to 150K will follow quickly. Chris says, Strategy should run an ad for Stretch at the Super Bowl. I would love to see that. Being born and raised in the state of Maine, I'm a New England fan, so nothing would make me happier than watching the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl in a stretch ad during a commercial break. That would be incredible. Make it happen, Michael. Oh, absolutely love it. Let's move on to Zinks, who says Stretch has traded above $100 for the third consecutive day. Volume is over 100 million. It closed at 1.17. I predict Strategy has raised 75 million over the last 3 days. This is enough for 830 Bitcoin. You do not want to fade MSTR. I mean, that is just from their preferred. Don't fade MSTR. We have D-Risk Dave says, few understand Bitcoin. Even fewer understand Bitcoin treasury companies. Fewer still understand preferreds. And even fewer understand the applications that will be built on top of the preferreds. If you understand all four, you are part of a very small group of individuals. The asymmetry is the opportunity to deploy heavily. This window of opportunity won't last forever. Now, let's even get to this last point here, because everybody that's listening, you likely understand these first three: Bitcoin, treasury companies, and preferreds, because preferreds have been around for over a year now. Even Stretch has been around for many, many months. I mean, it's we get it. But do you understand what's happening now with the applications that are being built on top of the preferreds? You saw what's happening with Buck, 7% built on Stretch. You saw what JP Morgan is going to be doing with BIC bonds, and Morgan Stanley is going to be doing the same thing. It's absolutely insane what is coming. I mean, man. Good stuff. Zink says Metaplan is going to be the best performing stock in the world in 2026, up 35% already, and Bitcoin hasn't done anything yet. At 200K this year, at 200K Bitcoin this year, we'll go to $20 per share. At what price does Actually Climber get back on board? I remember Actually Climber. This was a guy that was always posting about MSTR and Metaplanet, and of course, he got wrecked. So, I mean, he disappeared, but hopefully he comes back at some point and is able to rejoin the frenzy and the fun. But yeah, this has been a good ride. I have an announcement to make when it comes to Metaplanet. At $3.37, I am officially break even at Metaplanet. So I'm 1 cent below being break even. It's been quite a ride. My first purchase was I think it was $9.24. And I thought I was getting a steal. And then of course I bought again like at 5 something. And then I waited again and made my next couple buys in the threes. And luckily I was able to, when it got down to 0.89, deploy pretty heavily at $2.28. So that $2.28 did a great job of dragging down my average cost per share to $3.37, which is where I'm at right now. So I'm officially at break even in Metaplanet. So it's been an interesting ride. We'll see where we go from here, but I'm definitely not selling. I'm only going to be adding into weakness. So if this drops anywhere into the twos again, I'm a buyer 100%. I don't think it'll get back down to $2.28 unless Bitcoin takes a big nosedive, which of course is possible. But anything in the twos for me, I will be adding to this position for sure. As well as, of course, I'm adding to MSTR every single day. And man, I've been doing a lot of buys in the 150s for MSTR, and that has been pretty awesome for my dollar cost average as well. Okay, we got a great clip coming at you from Michael Saylor, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. When you want more for your business, start with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Your business identity is more than your logo or website. It's everything that defines who you are and how you operate, from what your customers see to what they don't, like operating agreements, meeting minutes, and compliance paperwork. With Northwest, you'll get more for your business, more privacy, more guidance, and more free resources than you'll find anywhere else. For nearly 30 years, Northwest Registered Agent has helped entrepreneurs form, grow, and protect their businesses. They're the largest registered agent and LLC service in America, powered by over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know the local laws. It can help you every step of the way. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free. Michael Saylor just made an $835 million bet buying the Bitcoin dip. Right now, Bitcoin's fallen almost 40% off its October high, and the big money is buying the dip. What's your strategy? Now might be a great time to convert your IRA or 401k to Bitcoin with the help of Bit IRA. Plus, you can fund it with pre-tax funds, then continue to invest in it over time as you do any other retirement account. Bit IRA protects your assets with end-to-end insurance, highly secure storage, multi-encryption, and registered with the US government. Your IRA is fully IRS compliant. Best of all, you can trade crypto within your retirement account without incurring taxes on any buys or sells. Just go to bitira.com/JLD and request a free info guide. Once you do that and open your IRA, you'll get a free ledger. Bitcoin has proven time and time again to rebound, every cycle going from a higher low to a higher high. With Strategy's latest purchase, Michael Saylor clearly believes Bitcoin is at a discount. Time for you to get in too? Go to bitira.com/JLD to open a tax-sheltered IRA in Bitcoin.
If you're an investor, it really comes down to what your time horizon is and how much volatility can you stomach. So if you want max performance, you're going to take max volatility. Strategies up 75% a year on average for the last 5 years. So you can actually outperform Bitcoin if you buy an equity that's amplified like MSTR. If you don't want to trust anybody, you want no counterparty risk, you buy Bitcoin. Bitcoin's up 50% a year over 5 years. No counterparty risk. It's very straightforward. If you want to have your cake and eat it too, you could buy some convertible preferred like STRK. STRK will get the vol. The vol on MSTR is like 60, 70. The vol on Bitcoin is 45. STRK would get your vol to like high 20s. And you get a mixture of a dividend and principal protection and some of the upside of the common equity. And if your time horizon is less than 4 years and you don't have much volatility to stomach, you shouldn't buy the equity or the equity hybrids. You should buy the credit, something like STRC. STRC is meant to be very, very stable, around $100 plus or minus a few pennies. And you get like a 10 and 10.5% dividend, that's tax deferred, and you're getting the benefit of the crypto economy, but you're not on the volatility roller coaster. So everybody's got different risk tolerance. They've all got different pools of capital. The good news this year is now you've got a variety of different instruments you can use to ride the digital wave.
Michael, and we've gotten more instruments to ride the digital wave, particularly as people have had more and more ways to directly invest in Bitcoin. Strategy stock has not done as well. To your point, it has over the past several years. But again, if you're talking about getting in now, or if you got in earlier this year, you wrote it down even as Bitcoin was going up. Are you concerned at all that the crypto treasury, the digital asset treasury strategy that you pioneered is losing a little bit of steam?
Over the last year, there's been 100 companies that have added Bitcoin to their balance sheet. The derivatives market and IBIT has surged. The flows into the ETFs have surged. All the major banks have announced support. The accounting has dramatically improved. The tax regime has improved. The administration support at the SEC, the CFTC, the Treasury level has improved. And so, and the technology has improved. Companies like Block have rolled out support for Bitcoin on Square and Cash App. So all the fundamentals are good. If you're going to be an equity investor, you have to think for yourself, and you have to have a time horizon of 4 years or longer. And equity markets are either going to lead or lag, and occasionally they'll perfectly reflect reality, but generally it's only a few days a year when they'll be perfectly rational. So if you don't have that 4-year time horizon, and if you don't want to make decisions based on fundamentals, if you simply want to park your money in a stable instrument and pick up a stable yield, you should be a credit investor. You shouldn't be an equity investor. I think the irony is the fundamentals of the industry are so much better today than they were 12 months ago that you've now got an extraordinary risk-reward opportunity. Now is a much better time to invest. All the things that you wanted to happen have happened. the market sentiment is negative, but that's an opportunity for the equity investor that makes their own decisions.
Michael, you're seen as a pioneer in this industry, charting new territory in cryptos and Bitcoin. What do you think about the likes of a Jim Chanos and others like him that are trying to profit off of you not doing so well?
I don't really think about Jim Chanos. I think that there'll be some skeptics. They don't really appreciate what Bitcoin is doing. They don't understand digital capital. They don't understand digital credit. But at the end of the day, the big dynamic in the industry is digital capital has gone from nothing to $2.5 trillion over 15 years. Digital credit didn't exist 12 months ago. We've issued nearly $8 billion of digital credit. Digital credit is got a tax equivalent yield of 4 times higher than bank credit. You can have a bank account, in New York City that pays you 4% and it's taxable, or you could buy something like STRC that pays you 10.5% that's tax deferred. So the market's evolving, and the short sellers aren't really interested in the impact of AI or the impact on digital assets to change the way the world works. They're just interested in being skeptical as a business. So I don't really focus on them. Nothing great has ever been created by a short seller. What's the second best? There is no second best.